Hi family, it's Sabrina Celeste. Happy Valentine's Day. So, law of attraction and manifestation is an interesting thing. There are several teachers who teach on it, and it's not crazy to say that they are all right in some way or another. But why is it that some people can visualize and feel the feeling and then let it go, and it still does not seem to manifest for them? Thus, they go back to the idea that, well, I think law of attraction is a bunch of mumbo jumbo and it just doesn't work. You have to remember that the subconscious is the soil and the technique is the seed. And the seeds that you plant in your mind are very important. But you might have to consider these things. One, are you still struggling with childhood trauma? Subconsciously, because no matter how much we meditate on it, feel the feeling, let it go, if you are still walking through painful, traumatic experiences from your childhood, then what's going to happen is your subconscious is going to determine what manifests and what doesn't. And wanting it so bad, well, that's just not alignment. That's just energetic gripping. And that just doesn't work. If I'm being honest with myself, do I really feel like I deserve what it is I'm asking for? Or have I just settled and then made up a bunch of excuses and reasons as to why it hasn't manifested? Or are you settling? Are you expecting and waiting for something that you think you want, but really isn't for your highest and best? And therefore, you are waiting for something or someone to do what you want, and that just doesn't work. When it comes to visualizing with other people, you can manipulate for a short period of time. You can even manifest that relationship, but if it is not something that is your highest and best, it will not last. It won't last, and if it does, it's probably not good for you. When you are aligning your energy to that which you want, it has to be with a feeling of receiving and allowing. We think about what it is we want. We feel the feeling of what it feels like to have it, and then we let it go. But when we're feeling the feeling of what it feels like to have it, what we want to do is we want to practice aligning that energy to gratitude and the feeling of, I am open to receiving and allowing this. Because if your head is saying one thing and your heart or your subconscious is saying another, never the twain shall meet. It has to be a pure alignment. And most of the time, you'll know when it's a pure alignment because you will visualize it, you'll feel it, you'll have gratitude for it, you'll practice the receiving and allowing of it, and then you'll be at peace and you'll be able to let that go. I mean, really let that go, turning it over to God, to the universe, to love. So if you haven't done that work, the body might still be vibrating with fear. And fear is a very interesting thing. It can manifest in some really crazy forms. Fear can manifest into anger or shame or guilt. Anger is a big one. Angry at yourself, angry at others. Still blaming another person for your plot in life. That's a huge one. So if your body is still vibrating the energy of fear, then that is the spiritual work, family. That is the spiritual work, to be able to clear whatever it is inside of you, no matter how much you might justify that anger. The only one who is carrying it right now is you. And so if you want to be open and free so that you can begin to allow the universe to set into motion the wonderful things you deserve, then you have to work those things out and be at peace with them. It's all really about being at peace with yourself. I often say when I share in meetings is that I forgave my parents, not so much for them, but because it set me free. So I just have one question for you. How free do you want to be? How free do you want to be? The other thing might just be that it's all about timing. So I believe that divine love, God's timing, is perfect timing. And so if you have truly, in the program we say, turning our life and will over to the care of God as we understand God, if you truly have that connection with Source, who is your source, then you should be able to unload that, whatever it is that you can't seem to get through and walk through, over to the care of the loving higher power that you have. So manifestation isn't about getting, it's about becoming. Of course, it's about getting what it is that you're trying to manifest, but it is truly about alignment. Sounds very simple, but I think it's really important to know who you are, know who you are. To thine own self be true. If you do have some anger issues or unresolved pain in your life or in your body, don't be afraid to take a look at that. We call it cleaning house, right? You have to have your mind, body, and spirit clean in order for you to be an open vessel. It has nothing to do with whether you deserve it or not. It's not about whether you deserve it. It's about whether you think you deserve it. That's what it's all about. It's so peaceful out here. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get used to this peace and quiet, but it has really forced me to slow down and go back to what I love the most, which is metaphysics and teaching law of attraction. There are a lot of videos out there, and there are a lot of fancy videos out there, but all I can tell you is I have probably created over 100 vision boards, and every single one of those things on my vision boards have manifested in some crazy way or another. I mean, I have so many stories. It would take us all day for me to go down one by one and tell you about what I wanted and how it manifested. This is what I do know, that happiness, true happiness, is a matter of personal perception and is most definitely an inside job. You don't have to like something, but if you accept it for being exactly the way it's supposed to be right now, you might actually find some peace in that. There is a big chapter, and I'm not really trying to talk about the big book, but there's a big piece on acceptance, right? Talks about when I find that person, place, or thing unacceptable to me, I can't find any peace until I accept that person, place, or thing as being exactly the way it's supposed to be. Nothing in God's world happens by mistake. It's not saying that we can't change it in ourselves, right? It's not saying that we have to change it or that things won't get better until we do change it. Because change is always within us, because we are always in choice. We can subject ourselves to pain or not. But if you're in a situation where your faith and your hope is being challenged, like so many people are right now, it is harder. It is harder. That means those of us who are not in a position like that have the job and the responsibility to send forth energetic healing to the planet, the world, and its people. I'm kind of going off track as far as like how to manifest. But seriously, when you are presented with something so physically challenging and painful, you know, how do you get through that? How do you walk through that? But I have to tell you that nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. And how I got through the pain that I had to get through was one day at a time, and spent that time doing the spiritual work that I have had to do. The work, that is the spiritual work. Adjusting my perception, accepting things I can't change, practicing gratitude more than not, being of service, getting out of self. That really helps a lot. If you're stuck and you're on a hamster wheel going around and around about you, perhaps maybe it's time for you to not think less about yourself, but maybe think about yourself a little less. That's one of the first things I do when I wake up in the morning is I ask God, the universe, I call him Dad, show me where and how I can be of service to you and your kids. Makes a big difference. So if you look at where you are and what you have now, and you're watching this video, think about this. Everything you need and want right here, right now, you probably have, which means you have everything you need. There's nothing wrong with wanting. There's nothing wrong with dreams. And I do believe that when one focuses and aligns their energetic frequency to whatever it is that they want, they will inevitably see or experience that very thing come to pass. Have a peaceful night. Bye.